Lads, is that better now?
Slightly.
Yeah.
A little bit.
We need to be one notch above Arsenal fan TV, essentially.
Troops.
Munib's a big fan of Troops.
All about that.
All right, let's.
So what's your name? What's all our names then?
My name is
Keep
Yus
it
and Zak.
Keep it natural, lad. Keep it natural.
Munib, you're very protective about your name, innit?
Munib, what's he on?
Keep
Mod.
it natural.
No,
Mod.
Listen, yeah, his parents chose that name for him very
No.
carefully and very particularly.
We won't go for Mane.
We're not ruining his name,
I'm
right?
not going to have his beautiful name bastardized by...
By Manny.
Manip is a great name. Manip
Man.
Cripps
So what
is
you
team of the week.
what do you want? Mones.
Yeah, just keep it normal. Like,
That's shocking. He's moaning all the time.
Mona Lisa.
So what? Mones, Zak, Yus, is it?
Yeah, I don't mind. Call me my full name,
Ass.
mate. No problem.
Ass, what's your name? Just Ass or what?
Well, if everyone's be boring, then I might as well just be asked, innit?
Call him Alligator.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, I thought we should have names, man.
Hello, Tiff. Can you be Richard?
Oh, hard. Don't mind, lad.
Why don't you just call me
Keith.
Joe then, innit? Everyone call me Joe, innit?
Yo, you could be
Zach,
Joe.
Zach calls me that anyway.
Munib can stay as Munib.
Munib Mohammed says full name.
I don't mind being Tim.
Zach's got to be Zach has to be Judas.
Judas,
Oh,
yeah,
hi.
for sure.
Absolutely
For sure.
not.
Why not?
Why would I be called Judas?
Or Screwface Judy, mate.
There's no
Screwface Judy.
positive connotation whatsoever.
Judas with a D.
Judy, but the D silent.
Should we start?
Oh, fantastic.
Alright, so are we calling? So what am I? Joe, Tim, Alligator. Why don't we call Zach Jude then? Just Jude.
Just call me Zach, man. What the hell? I'm going to call him Tim. How am I going to remember halfway through the
I know.
conversation?
It's
Tim.
so natural. You're just going to call him Tift after.
Alright,
I'm
forget
going
it
to
then.
call
That's
him
fine.
Tift there, look, automatically.
You
I'm
remember
gonna call him
Tift.
Rich.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves or?
No, I think you
Ah,
should.
that's
as
No,
a
why
host.
don't you introduce us?
Alright.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
should.
Job.
That's a host
You be
job,
like-
mate.
We've got
And
the,
we're joined with Yusuf.
our specialist Garth Mohammed. Munib was dying to cancel today. He was literally, for the last few days, he's just been desperate to cancel. I don't get it.
I gave him a great reason, innit? I gave him a great reason.
Uh,
Alright, we ready, lads, or what? What the hell?
I'm ready. Well, let's go.
Ready?
Bismillah.
Bismillah.
yeah, that's good one. Match of the 18th.
Are you recording Ass now or?
It is recording, yeah.
It's
Oh,
been
it's
recording
recording.
for ages.
Alright, safe. Should we start?
Alhamdulillah.
Alright, okay. Good evening and welcome to #Obsessed first footballing podcast. We're going to be bringing. Oh, shit. I forgot my lines.
What we need to say is
My
we're
name
bringing
is Ate.
fake
No.
football nonsense.
Keep it natural, lad. That's it.
Oh,
No, we got to introduce, but yeah, keep it natural.
yeah.
I think we need to bring in the football nonsense because that's our
Our weekly
What's
football
the
nonsense
tagline?
podcast.
Weekly.
Weekly football. nonsense.
weekly football nonsense.
Good evening and welcome to #Obsessed's first footballing podcast, bringing you your weekly dose of football nonsense. Going to be talking about all things football, predominantly Premier League, but we are going to be discussing all major moments, footballing moments from the weekend's action. So introducing the panel to you. So my name is Tift. We have joining us on our panels on a weekly basis. We have Mones, Zak, Yus, and Ass. So we're going to get straight into it. We've had another dramatic weekend of footballing action. So let's just start with a weekend review. As the day was passing on Sunday, there was only one thing dominating as the afternoon, as the day was progressing, but a dramatic evening of football Sunday evening, and there's only one place to start, and that is the demolition of Premier League champions Liverpool by Aston Villa. Well, Mones, I'm going to come to you first. Where did it all go wrong?
I don't know. That's the difficult thing about that game. Is not something that was expected from Liverpool. It's not something It's not something that's normal. I think it was probably a mentality issue for some reason. There was a little blip. Whether it was change of personnel, what's happening with coronavirus and so on and so forth. Potentially that could be it. Don't know.
7-2 though. Did that shock you in any way or form? That is a big defeat. This is Aston Villa here. This is,
Of course. I mean, I think it was partly due to personnel. So, new Adrian in goals. Didn't have obviously good performance there. Set the tone in terms of the first few minutes. His mistake, but we just didn't recover. We didn't recover at all, and I think there was a leak on the right hand side of our defence from Gomez and Trent. So a lot of the attacks were coming through there, obviously through Watkins as well.
Do you think there's an element of complacency settling in at Liverpool?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Sorry, Modes, if I can answer that. Not at all. And I'd just like to say, I think it has been a big wake up call for Liverpool. To be honest, thinking about the game, I'm not worried at all. I am not worried as a Liverpool fan myself. I can say that I'm not worried at all because you look at the players we were missing. Alisson at the back. Thiago not there. Henderson, the importance of Jordan Henderson, people do not realise. The game against Watford last season that we lost, who was missing? Jordan Henderson. He's a huge part of our team.
Okay, I understand the importance of Alisson, but isn't that what squad depth is meant to be for? And you mentioned
but when you have a keeper,
Thiago's played about 45 minutes of football. So Thiago shouldn't even come into it, and I don't see it being a change of personnel. Personally, I think Sadio Mane was a big loss, and I accept that, and Alisson. But to me, a result, what happened on Sunday, has been coming for a long time. Ever since the Atletico Madrid defeat back in before the pandemic. I mean, maybe not a 7-2 defeat, but I mean a big defeat was coming, and it's about time the team exposed the defensive deficiencies of Trent Alexander and Joe Gomez and Jack Grealish.
I agree with that.
I would completely agree with you if our last three performances in the league weren't brilliant. Leeds, not too bad, but I wasn't worried about Leeds because I know defensively whatever, but I saw it as a positive from Leeds. Against Chelsea and Arsenal, we were incredible. Chelsea fine 45 minutes, 10 men, but the first half we dominated them anyway. Against Arsenal, one of the best performances that we've had as a team. Incredible.
You've singled out
the game against Aston Villa. I've said Jordan Henderson because
is he worth 7 goals to you? Jordan Henderson worth 7 goals.
What I'm trying to explain and why I mentioned Thiago as well is because the problem of Jordan Henderson not being there. Imagine having Thiago in that team would have made slightly more of a difference. Of course, it would have.
Is it not concerning? Is it not concerning for you, Yus, as a fan watching that?
It's not.
You had a few absentees, but to lose in such a heavy defeat in that way,
it's not.
Doesn't that concern you slightly?
No, not at all. Not at all. And you know what?
Jordan Henderson's not there. Does that mean you're going to lose 7-2 again?
No, it's completely different because maybe next time we'll be playing a team like Tottenham who aren't good enough to score against us like that. So it might be a bit different. But Aston Villa, Grealish was incredible, by the way. And I think a big problem we have as football fans and in general, we never give credit to the other team.
Of course.
On this occasion,
full credit to Aston Villa. They played
Aston
terrific.
Villa because they deserve it. We shouldn't be talking about Liverpool about this. We should be talking about how good Aston Villa were because they were incredible. They were incredible. We can talk about Liverpool, and I can tell you, I am not worried at all. I do not think there is anything.
For you then.
Sorry, sure.
And it's not a genuine question. So Liverpool have been playing a high line It seems to be quite different to what we've been playing in the previous few years under Klopp. And it worked well against Arsenal and Chelsea. I mean, I watched those games, and to be fair, they played very well. But Aston Villa clearly sort of pinpointed that high line and targeted certain areas. I mean, it worked
100%.
amazing.
Yeah.
So does that give you any concern going forward? Do you think you should maybe go back to how you defended in previous seasons, or do you think you should stick to the high line? Because surely other teams would have watched what happened on the weekend.
But we've won the Champions League that way. We've won the Premier League that way.
No,
Exactly.
you didn't win the Champions League playing the high line that you're playing.
You
this
can
season.
you can say we didn't.
Liverpool played the high line that they're doing this season. They haven't done that in the previous years. They have played a slightly high line, but this year has been really exaggerated.
I think the high line only becomes an issue when your midfield and your attackers aren't pressing how they should be.
Exactly.
And basically, the high line is fine. I understand, and that is, to be honest, that result's been coming because your high line this season's been ridiculous purely because the gaping gaps in your midfield have just allowed other teams to slice straight through you, to be honest. So there's nothing wrong with the high line as long as the rest of the team are doing the job, because that's how you squeeze teams. But I don't know.
That's what Sadio Mane was a big loss.
He was a big loss. I don't really think Jota was too bad though. Out of every, I think Salah was our best player. I think Robbo played really well. Other than that, I can't mention any other players. Now we look at the first goal, and a reason why I'm not concerned as well is because our performances over the last 3 games, as I said, have been brilliant. In this game, you see the first goal, Adrian, awful. Then after that, they had 2 or 3 deflected goals as well. I'm not making excuses, and you know what? The luck was on their side, which was brilliant. But they were much better than us. It was coming to us. I agree, and I think as soon as I saw that Alisson wasn't available, I thought, okay, this might be a game where we have to actually try and grind out something. In the end, we got battered. But generally, am I worried? No.
So what does Klopp have to do now? Because your next fixture is against top of the table Everton, who are in red hot form. Their attack with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, and James Rodriguez could, if you perform like that, could hit you for double figures.
All I can say is thank God for the international break. It's come at the perfect time. Thiago, Mane, and hopefully Matip will be back then, because Gomez, I said it as soon as after they came back post-lockdown, he hasn't been performing. And Fabinho was incredible at centre-back against Chelsea. You all saw that.
Yeah, I'm afraid to say Gomez looked lost against
Villa the other
day.
100%. And unfortunately, it's something that I see in a lot of young English players. A lot of young English players who get a run in a team and they get a bit of hype behind them, even though it doesn't seem, but the pressure comes to them and they get complacent very, very easily. So
I know the coronavirus is a very serious issue, but are you kind of hoping that Adrian catches it?
He can't catch much, I'll be honest, as he cannot catch much at the moment, so I'll be surprised if he does.
So, in conclusion, Yus and Mones, would you both say you're still pretty confident that Liverpool, you've still got all the tools that you need to come on top in the league, would you say?
I truly believe
you haven't seen anything majorly wrong to concern you from that one damaging result?
And no, to be honest, I think the next couple of games will give us more of a marker in how we bounce back from it. But right now, no, I'm not concerned, and I still think we're favourites.
Yeah.
Zach asked, does that result give everybody else in the league major hope? That Liverpool aren't invincible at all? I mean, they've shown it in performances, but the results weren't there. Now this is a big result.
I don't think... I had before the season started, and it's a shame that we didn't start this podcast in the summer, actually. But I felt that Liverpool were going to... When I say struggle, I wouldn't say struggle. I didn't think they were going to win the league, and I still don't think they're going to win the league. And I think what the weekend's result will do is give other teams confidence to attack that back line. And I think Judas referred to it about Van Dijk being complacent. Joe Gomez, I don't think, is a very good defender, and Trent's great going forward, but there's a lot of questions about his defensive abilities. I think Liverpool.
Well,
I think
he was part of the best defense in the last 2 seasons.
I think the big thing
and the
is
Premier League, but yeah, never mind.
the big thing is that air of invincibility that Liverpool had about them last season and arguably the season before. That's gone.
Yeah.
Teams have
that's
sussed
been
out.
gone since the Watford game.
They've sussed out that there is a weak spot. They've sussed out that because I think last season a lot of teams came to Anfield and they lay down before a ball was kicked and they gave Liverpool the 3 points. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. A lot of teams have seen that. Aston Villa and Leeds, 2 sides that probably will finish in the bottom half, have come to Anfield.
Well, that's a big
played
call.
have played at Villa Park and they've given Liverpool a game / battered them. So I think we'll see a lot less of teams lying down for Liverpool this season.
Well, with Aston Villa, Aston Villa did beat us 4-0 last season. And as Ass like to remind me that they did beat us 4-0 last season. So I guess we saw that coming as well, didn't we? But to be fair, look, I understand your point. However, I really think fans and football, anyone about football, they jump on something straight. It's an awful performance, fine. Genuinely, if for the last 3-4 we've started the season awful, then I would be concerned about something. Having a one-off game like this, I think it happens to every team. It happens to every team. So I think if the next couple of games we get battered again or anything like that, then there's cause for concern. But at the moment, I don't think it is. And the air of invincibility might be gone, but Judas, I think when Tottenham Hotspur turn up, they'll bend over as well. No problem at all.
We will.
So if Everton beat you, and I'm from what I remember, the record against you has been terrible over the last.
If they batter us, then yeah, I would be concerned. If they get a result,
3-0, 3-goal victory. Would your alarm bells be ringing?
Well, again, after 2 games, no, but that would be really disappointing and that would be concerning.
And how long will you go into hiding if that was to happen?
Pardon?
How long would you be going into hiding if that was to happen?
I'm not too sure. This time, maybe.
I think the fact we're even talking about Everton battering you has already shown the change in mindset. I mean, last season we'd never.
Absolutely.
Everton to just get a 0-0 draw against Liverpool would have been an achievement.
Well, full credit to Everton, though. To be fair, as well. Full credit to Everton.
Exactly.
I don't think Liverpool fans are thinking that way. Yourselves are.
Well, not, of course, exactly. And I'm answering your question. I don't think we'll get battered. That's why I'm saying I don't think. That's why, of course, if they batter us, I do not think they will.
Okay, I'm expecting a close game. I don't think it'll be a battering. I'm expecting a close game. But the fact that it's a close game says enough about where.
I don't. To be fair, no. How Everton are playing right now? How are you discrediting them again? It's unbelievable.
All right. Okay. Let's move it on, lads.
It's unbelievable.
Liverpool Everton is still 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away, so we've got plenty of time to discuss that fixture. So on to the other major talking points on the weekend. So as I said before, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur. As this game was unraveling, I thought this game was going to be the major talking point of our podcast, but it was dwarfed by the Aston Villa Liverpool scoreline. 6-1, absolutely damaging, devastating defeat for United. But Zach, as a Spurs fan, you must be absolutely elated. I mean, you could have had more.
Well, I mean, throughout the week, I had a feeling that a result like this was coming. Obviously, I didn't want to make too much noise about it, but genuinely, I could see a 3-4-0 battering. To actually see it manifest and to happen was beautiful to happen before my eyes.
Did you actually watch the game though this time?
Let me remind you, Tottenham played Manchester United, Zach. Okay? It was 6-1 to Tottenham, if you didn't know.
No, genuinely, I think throughout what Jose Mourinho has achieved since the first game of the season, obviously against Everton, that was a shocking performance. Although, despite that, we came away with a 1-0 defeat, even though it was a very poor performance. Which shows that he knows how to close the game down, even when the other team are completely on top of us. We can limit it to just 1 or 2 goals.
That's a great. Yeah.
So were Spurs just too hot to handle for Manchester United, or were United just too poor?
Well, there's a combination of both, obviously, and I think that's obvious for everyone to see. United are a mess at the moment, but from a Tottenham perspective. The transfer window has been fantastic. And despite the heavy fixture load that we've had, practically every game we've smashed whichever team we're playing.
Did you smash Newcastle the week before?
Well, that's the thing. We did smash them.
No, but what was the
obviously
final result?
with a very controversial decision that robbed us of the 3 points, which I think also galvanised the us against the world mentality from Jose Mourinho.
So you haven't quite been smashing every team that's come your way.
And sorry, Zach, sorry, just another point. You were mentioning Liverpool, us even talking about, I'm bringing it back to Liverpool, sorry about this, but you even talking about, we shouldn't be mentioning Liverpool and Everton in the same bracket. I forgot you lost to them in the first game of the season, Zach. I forgot you got battered by them in the first game of the season.
I'm
so
not
why
denying.
on earth would you even say that? They're a great team.
Everton are a great team.
Okay.
They are the informed team at the moment. But, I mean, Liverpool is their first.
Sorry, back to United and Spurs. Sorry,
As a United fan, did what you see? Did that surprise you? Were you surprised to see that? Were you shocked? Were you expecting it?
Because I've never seen a Jose Mourinho team attack as much as they did. So it did come as a shock. But saying that, in terms of the performance from United didn't shock me because they've been poor all season. Against Crystal Palace, they lost. I think the final result was 3-1, and that could have been 5 or 6.
Yeah,
they beat Brighton, but Brighton, I mean, they should have lost probably by a bigger scoreline than they lost. That was absolutely. That was probably the Brighton game was probably one of the worst performances I've seen from United in many years since Mourinho was manager. So that wasn't good. Now, in terms of the actual game against Spurs, I thought they started off bright and they won the penalty in the first minute, which was, I mean, well won by Anthony Martial.
Obviously.
But what I will say is that the mood that Spurs are currently enjoying is the complete opposite to what United are enjoying. In terms of, I think United ended the season last year well. I know they lost out in the semi-finals of the Europa League, but they finished third and there was a good vibe, and all that needed to happen then was the board to support Solskjaer with the signings that he wanted, and the transfer window has been abysmal.
I mean, we're gonna discuss transfers later on in the show, but whilst we're talking about United, I mean, the panic buys on the final day of the transfer window. I mean, what's your thoughts about the direction of the club, where they're heading? What they've got, they don't seem to have an idea about what they want to do.
It's true, and
it's a shame because last year it looked like, I don't think Solskjaer's and I think his tactical inept is beginning to show.
Do you think the team's gone backwards from last year?
It's definitely gone backwards from last season. They finished the season really well, but I mean that's only because Bruno Fernandes came in. Up until Bruno came in, Solskjaer was probably on the verge of being sacked. He came in and gave the whole team a boost, and we managed to play well until the end of the season.
So you think, as well as the board, you think Ollie should take some of the criticism, blame as well, because
most definitely, but I don't think right now.
Yeah.
I'm not the type to be turning on Ollie just because I've seen it over the previous years, especially with when Mourinho was in charge and we finished second, and that was a summer then to push on. But the United board and the owners clearly are not aiming to win the title. They're happy to get top 4 because of all the sponsorship deals and stuff. So they look at qualifying for the top 4 as a reason to stop spending and stop supporting the manager because they think they've done enough. When actually that's the time to kick on. And it happened under Mourinho, and then Mourinho ended up getting sacked. And it's happened in Solskjaer. I don't think Solskjaer would win the Premier League with Man United.
Whoa, that's a big claim, man.
But I still, I think the board is as much to blame as the management. I don't think Solskjaer would. If Solskjaer was to leave Man United tomorrow, I don't think any other Premier League club would take him. And I question whether any Championship club would take him. I think he's that bad. But like I said, the problems are bigger than Solskjaer. Regardless of who the manager is, the problem is going to continue. So for me, the bigger issue is getting rid of Edward Woodward and Matt Judge and the Glazers.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest issue. You know, since Alex Ferguson, the board hasn't backed a manager in the transfer market, or when it's at that point where it's time to spend.
Can you really say that though, Mones? Because United have spent a lot of money since Ferguson's left.
But it's
if you look at the money they've spent,
the investment.
If you look at the money they've spent since Ferguson left, how many successful signings have you made?
It's unbelievable. Other than Asif Ali's Sancho 7 top, they
haven't. But the question is, they have spent money equivalent to other clubs. So
the issue is how the money is being spent.
Absolutely, yes.
And there's no clear direction. I think last summer there was a
Exactly.
clear direction because Ole clearly wanted British players. He wanted Maguire, he wanted Wan-Bissaka, who can't pass a football, but that's up to his taste. But I think there was a direction, whether I agreed with it or not. But this summer, clearly there was. I mean, Donny van der Beek, I think he's a good player, but I don't think there's a real need for him.
What do you feel like when United sign a player like that and he's left sat on the bench for United's first 3 games? Did you expect him to start against Spurs? Because I did.
I'm sorry, like
I don't think Ole's got the balls to drop Paul Pogba.
No.
And I think Paul Pogba is a massive problem for United. Not just because I think with Pogba, I know he's got the talent, and the thing over the last few years he's had some decent performances, and usually what he would do, he would drift in and out of games, but he would always produce one moment of magic. But he's not doing that anymore, and I personally believe that his footballing ability is on a very, very steep decline. He's always been a bit of a liability in midfield. You can't sort of expect him to track back or to be making the right runs, but just because of the quality he can bring, that moment of magic. But I feel like he's lost that moment of magic. Whether or not he's capable of reproducing that in a different club, I'm not so sure. My opinion, and I feel quite strongly about this, is that he's on a very, very steep decline to the point where in a year's time, I can't see him getting into Brighton's team.
Whoa, French Dele Alli do this or what?
Absolutely. I think, I did mention this earlier in the week. I think Paul Pogba's performance on the weekend was one of the worst performances by a Premier League.
Granted, the work rate there was pathetic.
I'm sorry. Okay, fine. He had a poor performance and he has been dreadful. The guy has won a World Cup. I don't know if we're forgetting this. The guy has won a World Cup. At Juventus, he was incredible. He came to United at a time when they were on a steep decline. Don't talk about Pogba having a steep decline. United on the steep decline.
No. Paul Pogba wasn't incredible at Juventus. He had good moments.
Whoa.
He was playing in a team which he had Marquisio, Vidal, and Pirlo supporting him. He had a free role in midfield.
So he wasn't good enough for Juve, was he?
No, he was good. But I mean, ever since Paul Pogba has joined United, even the times we've been doing well, it's always been Paul Pogba needs to play in the left of the 3. Paul Pogba needs to play in the midfield 4. Paul Pogba needs to play further forward. Paul Pogba is quite frankly shit. Let's be honest. In the 4 or 5 years he's been at Man United, he's had no more than 10 good games. The only outstanding game he's had was in the Manchester derby a couple of years ago. He came back from down, and even then, all he did was doing the basic things right. Paul Pogba isn't a good player. I know he won the World Cup.
I just think
I can see what he's capable of producing performance in a sort of cup competition, but in the hustle and bustle of the Premier League, he cannot week in week out produce the level of performance required to be a top level midfielder in the Premier League.
I just think that if he went to, I don't know, it'd be very, very interesting to see him at a different club and see what happens there under a manager who I think can motivate him. I think it'll be very interesting because I don't think a player can lose it that much that quick. I don't think it's really possible. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see him at a different club, definitely.
Yeah, just to finish on this Paul Pogba debate, the only thing I will say is, and the question I'll put forward to you guys is, Paul Pogba seems to be the one that's predominantly scapegoated whenever Manchester United has a bad performance, and whenever United perform badly, all 11 players on the pitch perform badly, but Paul Pogba is normally the one who is singled out first. I think that's a bit unfair.
Very unfair.
Is it fair to label such a high level of criticism towards him when everybody else played shocking as well on the weekend?
The point that I'm going to make as a Man United fan is that I can accept a player who isn't as talented as Pogba.
Are there other players at Man United who have been getting away without criticism?
Absolutely, I could completely
100%
agree with that comment. However, the point for me is that one thing I can't stand on a football field is a player who isn't running, isn't tracking his players. The likes of, you could put Phil Jones in. Phil Jones will have an absolute, if he was playing on the weekend, he would have had an absolute shock and probably played worse
Phil Jones.
But the one thing that I can accept is a player who's trying. Paul Pogba doesn't try. when a midfielder runs past him, he actually jogs on the spot, which he tries to make it look as if he's sprinting, but he's actually jogging. And you'll see a number of times in all of United games, you'll see Bruno Fernandes, who's playing further forward, sprinting past him, actually getting back. Paul Pogba is probably as quick, if not quicker, than Bruno Fernandes.
I'm sorry, but
he does not want to track back. And don't talk to me about him he should be having the license to roam and all that. Because if you're a central midfielder, you have certain responsibilities. Now, that's the one thing that's the reason why Pogba gets the criticism that he does, is because he doesn't is a lack of effort, and that's a big difference between a player who just isn't very good.
Other than playing, but the thing is, other than playing hop, skip, jump, what does Bruno Fernandes do? Like, I don't understand.
Okay,
the guy gets the ball and he jumps a bit as a penalty. Lovely, well done. Look, I just gotta say, I think a lot of the what did he do on the weekend? He was awful.
He's a driving force behind the team. He presses. He's the best presser in Man United's team.
Then, to be honest, isn't it?
If you look at the game against Brighton, he produced an absolutely worldly assist for Rashford.
To be fair, he done something I've never seen. He scored after the final whistle. That is outstanding. Bruno Fernandes.
But no, we can't be questioning Bruno, because he brings leadership, he brings bite, he brings pressing from the front. I think if there's one player in the team that's being let down by his teammates, is Bruno Fernandes. And I think I know we're coming on to transfers, but I think Bruno Fernandes playing behind Edison Cavani is a mouth-watering prospect. But if Paul Pogba is playing behind the two of them, then we might as well just bend over with Luke.
Just to quickly summarise, are you happy with Manchester United's deadline day dealings? Does that give you any rise for positivity? Or?
Well, I'm happy with the sign of Cavani, and I know it was a panic buy, if you want to call it that. I actually earlier in the summer we should have gone in for him, and I was questioning why we weren't going in for a player of his quality.
He's a good player.
And he'll score goals for us. And I think that's a great sign-in. Alex Telles, I followed him for a while, and he looks a really good player. Obviously, we can't guarantee how he's going to settle in the Premier League. I think he'll do well, because our fullbacks can't pass, shoot, cross, or dribble. So he looks like he's capable of at least two of those attributes. As for the two youngsters, Amad Diallo, who he's changed his name actually, no longer wants to be referred to as Traore. He wants to be referred to as Diallo.
What's that?
I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's to do with his Islamic heritage, but I need to look into what the reason is. But he looks a top prospect, and I have really high hopes for him. Obviously, he's not joining until January because of work permit issues. So I'm excited about that signing. As for Facundo Pellistri, I don't know too much about him. He looks again like an exciting prospect, but I suspect he'll probably be eased into the team as the season progresses. The one I'm the most excited about is Amad Diallo. I think he's going to prove to be an outstanding signing. As for in terms of missing out on Sancho, I don't think we ever really went in for him properly this summer. I don't think the Glazers were really wanted to spend that money on him, and I tend to kind of agree with them in the sense that I don't believe he's a player who's worth £108 million. But saying that, they should have pursued other targets, and I actually question why they were pursuing a right winger. I know we need a right winger, but for me, we need a centre back as an utmost priority, and probably a defensive midfielder. For me, signing Donny van de Beek, I think he'll prove to be a good player, but he's essentially cost the same as Thomas Partey. And for me, Thomas Partey would have been exactly what Man United need in the heart of the midfield. So if I feel like they signed Donny van de Beek because it was an easy deal to complete because of United's relationship with Edwin van der Sar, and maybe it was a good opportunity, but. I personally can't get over the fact that Thomas Partey essentially went for the same price as Donny van de Beek. He would have filled a hole in Man United's midfield, and we didn't even attempt for him. And that's, for me, sums up the problems at Man United. Yeah. We shouldn't be spending £100 million on Sancho. We should have been going for a player like Upamecano, a top quality centre back. And but then
I don't think a single one of those signings are going to come good at United. They've shown since Ferguson has left, time and time again, they can buy the hottest prospects in world football, and every single one of them gets sucked into that toxic atmosphere.
What hot
and
prospect?
destroys whatever talent they have.
So since Fergie's left, what hot prospect have we signed?
I think there's
Paul
been so
Pogba.
many assets.
Can you just
There's
name
been
me?
no successful signing.
Paul Pogba.
Can you just name me two?
I said Paul Pogba.
Two hot.
I wouldn't
Paul
say. I
Pogba,
wouldn't.
Daniel James,
No.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Daniel James.
Okay. Well, can we slow down a second? Paul Pogba wasn't a hot prospect. He was an established superstar. So there's a difference between signing a prospect and signing a superstar. Paul Pogba is shit. Sorry, excuse my language. Okay, moving on to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Again, I wouldn't call him a hot prospect. Daniel James most certainly has never been a hot prospect.
I'm sorry, he was.
He's a young footballer. He was. If he moved to another Premier League club, he would be miles ahead of where
And
he is.
I'm sorry. After he scored those goals in the first two games, you were saying Ballon d'Or 2020.
You cannot compare the likes of Daniel James and Aaron Wan-Bissaka to Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo. So
Amad Diallo looks very good.
Outstanding.
He does look very good.
So in about 2 years' time, what we'll do, when we're recording our 373rd podcast, we'll refer back to this conversation.
Absolutely.
How our young stars have got on.
Okay, let's get moving, gents. I'll tell you what. Yus.
Sorry, Atif. Sorry again
Go on.
about this, but I
Don't apologize.
I have to stand by what I said as well. And too many times we discredit clubs. We talked about Man United the whole time there. No credit out of Tottenham Hotspur. I thought they were
Absolutely.
super.
And
I gave Zach the platform, and
I thought they were
said
super.
what he wanted to say.
Just like Patrice Evra and Gary Neville on Sky Sports on Sunday.
I thought they were brilliant.
Let's be honest.
Thank
Zach,
you, Zach.
all Zach wanted to do was bash Man United. He would rather sit there and bash Man United and talk about his own club and how
I think he had split loyalties on Sunday. To be honest, I don't know about you.
I think there is some truth in what Asif's saying, only because we want to keep under the radar. There's no point coming out all guns blazing, blowing our trumpet before we've only won 2 games this season so far.
Oh yeah, Zach. Okay.
I am convinced that Mourinho will win a trophy for.
No doubt.
Yeah.
He's a winner.
That is.
The Audi pre-season cup.
Yeah. Either way, gentlemen, it is very, very early days in the season yet. Things are changing
exactly
every weekend. There's major shifts every weekend. So
absolutely,
it's been one of the most unpredictable seasons.
Absolutely,
in memory.
Of course,
every single weekend, a new striker's scoring a hat trick that we didn't even know about the week before.
Can we talk about Charlie Watkins? I think he looks an outstanding.
Oh, listen, Ollie Watkins. I liked watching Brentford last season because they did play beautiful football, and I was watching it for one guy say Ben Rahma. He's an incredible player, but Ollie Watkins, if you didn't know, he used to be a winger, and the club they sold their striker. I'm not sure who it was, and they converted him from a winger to a striker. And it was that coach again. I forgot his name. Sorry about that, but he saw something in him to be a quality striker, and genuinely he looked like, even from last season, maybe it's the Villa tight kick, but the guy looks bigger, he looks stronger, he looks like he's running all the lines. What he done to Gomez,
he's a very astute signing, because last season Villa didn't really have a presence up top. They had Yusuf and they on Jack Grealish to get the goals, but now with Barkley in the mix, with Ollie Watkins up top, they've got different options.
And I think we're forgetting as well, John McGinn was out for a long time last season, and
John McGinn is a top player.
His left foot is fantastic. So, yeah.
I know I said I think they'll finish bottom half, but I think it will be a solid towards the top end of the bottom half rather than flirting with relegation.
I think they'll be 10.
Close to Spurs then.
Joseph by Spurs.
Well, at the moment the league is wide open, I'd say. Everton, the only team with a 100% record. Are they the real deal? Are you guys worried about them? Do you think they're going to stick it out at the top?
Haven't Aston Villa got 100%?
Oh, Aston
Villa have 100%.
They just played 3 games.
Right. Oh, well, there you are. Aston Villa as well.
Telling you, Ollie Watkins, Jack Grealish. Everton, stick it out. I don't know. I think the next game against us will be huge. Rodriguez is an unbelievable signing. What a player. Allen is a big signing as well. But he might be injured. I don't know if there's been any update, but he might be injured for the Liverpool game.
So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, though, what an unbelievable start he's had to the season, and that is a proper number 9 there.
It just shows. I think Carlo Ancelotti knows how to get the best out of him. He's changed the system so that he's getting all of these one-touch chances they can just put away and he's going to be a big player this season.
Absolutely, he has changed the mentality that's followed Everton season after season. Right, let's move on then. We'll make it nice and brief. If you just want to give us a nice transfer roundup, it was deadline day yesterday. Plenty of deals completed. We've already discussed what United's business. Anything else that stood out for you?
I mean, the Thomas Partey deal. I'm a huge fan of him. Obviously, you never know how he's going to settle in the Premier League. But if he plays as well as he has for Atletico Madrid, I remember his 2 performances against Liverpool, which stands out to me from last season. He was unplayable in those 2 games. Can we? This is not a dig at Liverpool.
No, just a point. No, I agree. But just a point on that as well. And I saw a lot going around the Twitter rounds as well. And BT Sports stupidly put out a tweet saying Thomas Partey at Anfield last season. Just to say, we had 78% possession in that game, and we had about 34 shots.
Okay.
The only thing he dominated was his partner next to him, mate. He was holding hands with him. He couldn't do anything.
Okay, so did you win?
At Atletico Madrid, at the Wanda Metropolitano, he was incredible. He was incredible.
Okay, no, but did you qualify from those 2 games?
No, we didn't. Did you guys win the Europa League? No. Okay.
No, we're not talking about Man United. I was talking about Thomas Partey.
He didn't dominate the second game. That's all I'm saying.
Of course, he's not going to. Atletico Madrid are not a team that dominate possession. In my opinion, he dominated the midfield without having possession of the ball.
Right. Okay.
He broke a play, and when he got the ball, he passed it well.
In the first game, I thought he did. Yeah, he was brilliant.
I think
he's a great signing.
Yeah,
he is a great signing.
Any other major transfers?
I think, like I said, Cavani will turn out to be a great signing.
I agree with that.
I'm not sure if Spurs are still looking at Joe Rodon from Swansea.
I
think if he does come, he's just going to be one for the future. He's not going to have a massive impact this season.
Well, Mourinho doesn't like playing young players, does he? So
I think you've got a chip on your shoulder about Mourinho. I know you had a bad experience with him.
I think
if Mourinho is
I was just calling Mourinho a serial winner.
Then that means Manchester United are the only club which he couldn't fix in his long and illustrious carear.
I think you send Mones to sleep. Send Mones to sleep with your arguments.
Before Mones comes back in, I just said one thing. I was praising.
I was almost ready to sleep. Yeah,
I was praising. I just said a few minutes ago that Spurs are probably going to win a league title this season, and Mourinho was
the league title.
Not a league title, sorry, a trophy this season.
Sorry.
And that Mourinho was a serial winner. So I haven't got a chip on my shoulder about Mourinho whatsoever. I would hate him to be managing Manchester United right now. He's a serial winner. He'll probably win a trophy for Spurs. If anyone's got a chip over their shoulders, you towards Man United.
Damn, so I agree with that. He has it towards Liverpool as well. But
we are talking about other things. In terms of the rest of the transfer windows, I think Fulham are going to be in trouble. I know they signed a few players on the deadline day, but no one really stood out for me.
Fulham are going down with a record.
Yeah, I think so.
I think with a new record for low total points.
It's been a worrying start for Fulham again.
Sorry, any Fulham fans out there, but you guys are
awful. They look like they got promoted on accident.
Brentford with Ollie Watkins and Said Benrahma.
Oh, it would have been a pleasure to see Brentford in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, let's move on. Mones, team of the week. Who made it? Who didn't make it? Who made the cut?
Yeah, team of the week. It was a difficult one actually. Starting off, incredible results.
Adrian and goal.
Potential what? Not at all. So I think it was. It's so many good teams, standout teams, so many standout players. It's actually a really difficult one to start off with, and I've had to not add some players who should have been there. Just taking kind of Aston Villa as an example. A lot of the players could have made it into the first 11.
Did Adrian make your 11?
Not at all. So starting off with the team. So we've formation-wise, I've gone for 4-4-3. Starting off in goals, Edison, Man City. So that could, people may see that as something strange due to the mistake he made, but kind of the entire.
He made a few spectacular saves from
Yes. So in terms of entirety of the game, Dallas, Ayling, Rodrigo, the shots and the headers that came from those three individuals and the saves that he made.
He made a calamitous mistake in that game, didn't he?
He did, and in a normal circumstance, he wouldn't be as part of the team of the week. So, but I think what tipped it for me was the entirety of the performance rather than that blip.
That's true, and Leeds were very, very good.
Fantastic, and it's a real pleasure to have them back, really, in the Premier League. Then coming into defence, got 4 in the back. I've got Sergio Aurier from Spurs, right back. 1 goal, 1 assist, bombing forward in attack. Hasn't been the best previously, of course. Defensively, a lot of mistakes made, but it seems in that game specifically there was a change in heart. Well,
he didn't have any defending to do, did he?
Yeah, well, that's the case, and it'll be good to see how the competition ability now coming into the Spurs team, how he reacts.
The bit of defending that he did have to do. Sorry, just to. But
he gave away the penalty.
Judas he was involved in the penalty incident, so I thought, he clearly still can't defend. But
he more than made up for it.
Didn't have. Lucky for him, he didn't have much defending to do.
Yeah,
sorry.
And that definitely was the attacking performance that put him there. Then coming into centre back, I had Yerry from Everton there. Nice. I felt he bossed it. He's someone similar to Serge. There's always that bit of doubt about him, but I think through the start of the season, he's really bossed it and controlled, especially in this game this week. The latter part of the game, as the opposition was coming back in, he really controlled it, I thought, and obviously he got a goal as well.
Can I just add there as well? They also signed. Sorry, it's about transfers, but they've signed that centre back Ben Godfrey from Norwich, right? And
he looked a good player.
They have been keeping tabs on him for a while. I've heard.
Yeah. So it's really good. So I think then in terms of the second centre back, and I was really debating whether to have another centre back or another centre mid, McGinn. But I've gone for Kurt Zuma in the back. Wasn't standout, I'd say, but he was really solid. Again, similar to Mina, really bossed it, controlled it. Didn't let anything go past him. And he was dangerous when he was going forward in set pieces. So I've added Kurt in.
I'm a big fan of Zuma. I think he's very underrated. He has a mistake in him, but he is also underrated. And I think if he can get a solid run of games and avoid injuries, I think he'll prove to be one of the better defenders in the Premier League.
Well, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, carry on.
It's an interesting debate, I think, with Kurt.
No, definitely in your team. I thought he was brilliant, as you said, just as a player.
Yeah, interesting. So I think then moving on.
Sorry to interrupt. I've just seen breaking news, and Marko Grujic has joined Porto on a season-long loan. It's just been confirmed.
Wow,
that's breaking news.
Thank you, As.
Cheers,
I don't care.
What did you say?
Right, who's our left back, Mones?
So left back then got Ben Chilwell. From
that was
Chelsea.
an easy one, I think.
Nice and easy. Great debut. Goal assist. Fantastic there.
Fantasy team, get him in, mate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Then went to the 3 midfield. Rodriguez had to be done. 2 goals, 1 assist. I think he's being set up to have a fantastic season, and I think the pairing with Ancelotti, that is something to watch. Then in the middle has to be Jack Grealish. Dictated it. 2 goals, 3 assists. There's no doubt about that. Then I've actually put Son in midfield as a third.
Interesting.
And
that's quite attacking for you, isn't that?
Certainly. And
very Garth Crooks, isn't it?
2 goals, assists, 1-1. So it was difficult. It was whether Kurt, in terms of the balance of the team, whether
To be fair, it was a very attack-minded weekend of football, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I can imagine the difficulty you had in getting all the attackers in.
it's true.
certainly, and I think that's the biggest challenge. So I've gone for that 3 midfield. Then looking up top, a team we haven't talked about at all, Newcastle. So I've got ASM, Alan Saint-Maximin,
Nice.
on the wing. Amazing player. I love watching him. And particularly this weekend, he played a pivotal role. Just his second assist, the assist for Callum Wilson. The way he went past a player, the speed, it was just incredible to watch. So I think I've put him in.
Pace, power, penetration.
Indeed. And then I've put him into the team. Then the other two strikers, there's probably no doubt there. I've got Harry Kane and then Watkins from Villa.
I didn't think Harry Kane was that great. I'm joking.
I'm not going to bite.
But Harry Kane this season, incredible. He's just dictating it, not just in terms of goals, but assists as well. I think he's playing
His passing has been unbelievable. I don't know what's going on there.
He's come out of nowhere.
I think it's always been in his locker, but I think the start he's had, he's coming into. This is probably the best form of his career so far. And if he continues in this vein, it'll be a very scary season.
Well, it was quite funny listening to Paul Merson a few months ago when he said about Harry Kane struggling under Mourinho, and I think he he's got egg on his face now, isn't he? Really?
Oh, absolutely.
That's nothing new for Merce. Thanks for that, Moons. You got most of the picks spot on there. I couldn't really think of anybody else who could have got in there.
I think you could have picked with the attacking output, as Asif said, this weekend. We could have put two 11s out, to be honest, with attacking players.
Absolutely.
I think to be fair, one guy as well maybe could have. No one could have trumped who you had in there, Mooney. But having Ndombele in there, maybe, or he had a great game. Ndombele, mate.
I thought Ross Barkley had a good shout as well. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah, see, Ross Barkley was okay in the build-up and stuff, but other than the one deflected goal, genuinely, I don't see much from him, which I think is wow. Esri Konsa at the back was very good.
I thought Barkley did great to get the deflection. I think that's what he was aiming for, actually.
yeah, definitely.
I mean, a good mention there for Ndombele, but I think the star of the top midfield was definitely Højbjerg, who's surprisingly his first performance was absolutely shocking against Everton.
It was awful, yeah.
At that point, I was worried that what we spent money on, but he's come on leaps and bounds, and I think that the through ball to Aurier for one of the goals against Man United was fantastic.
Absolutely, Spurs looking menacing this season. Just to finish off, then, just some of my thoughts I had. So the season's got off to an absolutely incredible start. There's been goals galore every weekend. And I look at every single defence of every team, and especially after this weekend's footballing action, there's not one set of defence out there which looks capable at the moment. Anyway, they all look gettable, basically. I'm not sure if it's to do with managers not having enough time pre-season, if it's to do with the fans not being there, but defensive-wise, the standards have either completely gone out the window or the attacks have just improved.
I think there's a
what do you guys think?
I think there's a combination of standards dropping as well as players playing with more confidence about having fans.
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of entertainment value, it's absolutely cracking. I mean,
it's unbelievable. Yeah,
goals galore.
I think another thing to add to that is that the increase in the number of penalties for stupid handballs and just VAR related penalties.
Yeah.
Which is
Chelsea have had the most number of penalties in the Premier League, and they're getting some
Didn't Bruno Fernandes get about 150 pens last year? So why are we talking about Chelsea having the most at the moment?
No,
Let's be honest.
Chelsea are having the most penalties. Can we not? when Man United win penalties, apart from one in the 15 or so that they've had since January, one has been debatable. Every single other penalty has been absolutely stonewall, exactly like the one against Spurs was. It was the most stonewall penalty I've seen in a long, long time, and even Judas can't argue that.
Well, I wouldn't say in a long, long time, but I mean, it was one of your more justifiable penalties. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for that.
Any other views from the weekend's footballing action? Anything else just to close off?
I just think it's pretty disappointing when the international break comes in, and
it is doom and gloom, isn't it?
It's ruined my week. It's absolutely.
It has. I mean, the Premier League gets going off, and you think you're in the flow, you're in the rhythm, and then internationals just come and stop, bring a halt.
As a Liverpool fan, I'll say international break fantastic at the moment. Take your time.
Yep. I think there's a few teams need the international break, to be honest.
Let's relax, man.
Can I just say one thing with Liverpool and generally with teams, when they lose, they usually want to get together and get the next out of the way.
If we didn't have all the injuries, that's what I'm talking about with the international break. Just the injuries, that's all.
Yeah, I guess you got.
No, I completely agree with you. When you lose, you want to get out there straight away. But just because of injuries, now please just come back, have a week off, and that's it. That's all.
I feel like Liverpool's whole team needs to go into isolation for the rest of the season.
To be fair, yeah, great call, Ass. I think you should call up the Prem and tell them.
And on that note, I think Yep.
Sorry, Atis. Sorry, I just think we didn't talk about a couple of other teams as well that I thought had great performance. Arsenal as well, really good.
Yeah.
And Thomas Partey, we have to actually think, as Asif said, he would have loved him at United. The guy did pick Arsenal, and that says something huge because he is a great holding mid, one of the best defensive mids out there. So it's actually a big statement. And again, you have to look at it. I think you look at the manager, Arteta, and a lot of people.
Of course, you can't underestimate the influence a manager has on attracting players.
I think Arteta is proven to be a top manager in the making. I think the biggest downfall for him could be is backing with signings. I know they signed Partey in the end, but they probably could have done with another one or two to really push on. But I think if he gets the right backing of that club, then Arsenal are going to be a real force.
100%.
I think it's been very telling that Man City's form has been, it's dropped off a cliff since Arteta left Man City, and it could indicate who was actually pulling the strings at that.
Potentially.
I've always thought Pep Guardiola was a bit of a fraud, but hey.
Well,
I'll tell you what, we'll leave that discussion to our next podcast. But yeah, that brings our first footballing #obsessed podcast to a close. That's your first dose of weekly footballing nonsense. Thank you very much, Yus, Mones, Zak, Ass.
Thank you
for joining us. Hopefully, we'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, lads.
Now.
Not bad.
We are too obsessed with Liverpool and Spurs, man.
I know, it's true.
No,
made that point.
Listen,
there was like
teething.
half an hour of Man United in the middle of that.
But I'm sorry.
There was.
Listen, Munib had a nap in the middle of that.
No, but listen, lads. Look, this weekend, Liverpool lost to Villa 7-2 and Spurs United played each other. It was
to be fair, it was two huge results. Like we have to talk about.
If Liverpool just beating Brighton 2-1 and United,
minor, we wouldn't talk about it.
We wouldn't be talking about as much.
One thing I'll say is, lads, that hour went by very quickly.
I'll be honest. This is just fans. Even if we don't become celebrities from it,
I don't care.
Listen, we will. Don't worry about that.
Solid start though, lads. Well done. Top stuff.
I thought it went really well, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Munib, I thought you were team of the week, mate, and you're an explanations.
I thought your team of the week was superb, Munib. Genuinely.
I thought it was, but you can't
explanation. Munib, what did you say about John McGinn as centre back though? I don't know what's going on there.
No, I was saying centre mid. So
I was
you can pick whoever you want.
I
whatever
agree with
position.
That's true.
Yeah. So it was, it was whether 3-4-3 or 4-3-3. So
to be fair, it's his thing. It's his team of the week. You can do whatever
the he wants. Were quality as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end, maybe we can have time to if there's any.
Listen, Munib just got to